What's up, guys? It's Brendan from Market Makers. Man, look at that pump. I told you yesterday we'd have to get up above 66K to hit the fib circle. So the actual date on the fib circle said that would happen next weekend based on the movement of Bitcoin because we were down here. And then we pumped up, sure enough, hit the fib circle. So now what? What is the next big move? Does that mean that we are dumping? Does that mean we were going to use it as support and pump? And the answer to that question is uncertain at this point because this is a daily candle, guys. So it's still open. It's open till 8 o'clock Eastern. So you got about 6.5 more hours on this candle. It could fall back into the fib circle, fall through it, bring you back down to the chop where you were, or it could land on the circle and start using it as support. Okay, we've seen it do both things. As you can see here, here's a continuation from a pump from previously. I went over this a little bit. I'm not going to spend too much time on this today, but here's a continuation to a pump. And then you got it on your median line, on your pitchfork, use that as support, hit the fib circle, boom, rocket it up, got to your retracement line, we're able to use that as support and then rock it up. And then, of course, you fell back down when you hit the pitchfork top. Okay, so the key thing I want to show you on this, couple of things, a couple different ideas of where we could go pattern-wise, and what is the current market top according to Fibonacci. Okay, so guys, I Fibonacci pattern traded, which is what these patterns are. They show trend exhaustion. So bullish patterns occur after you have massive selling, because trend exhaustion from selling, then you get a bullish pattern. Bearish patterns occur after you have massive pumps, because you get trend exhaustion and dumping. Like right now, we're down about 700 points from our peak. Okay, we are in a bearish Gartley between the 1272 and the 1618 on the D point for the PRZ. That's where we are. So let's look at this. The pitchfork has been hyper accurate. You can see it being used here as a base. Again, you see it as the top. So the pitchfork's been very, very accurate. We had one little fallout back in July where we had almost a second crash and we dipped down and we got back up into the pitchfork. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say the pitchfork's been completely accurate since July 24th. So this is a very, very long time frame to be very accurate. And then you have the circles. We went over this yesterday with how accurate they are. You can see that just from the picture yourself. So these are Fibonacci tools, guys, right? So what does that mean? Well, what it means is a couple different scenarios can play out here for Bitcoin. Let me zoom in and show you guys this. So if we just trade in a bullish sense, if let's say we retrace, we use the fib circle for support, or we use this green retracement line for support, and we just trade in this quadrant. This is actually super bullish and it's very healthy. Why do I say that? Well, because this is an ascending pitchfork. So your ceiling gets higher, like right here, you're at 71K Bitcoin, okay? If this candle just went reversed and went straight up, you're at almost 70K Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin just does something like this organically, stays in this quadrant, where it's just in this upper end of the quadrant or this end of the quadrant, it is going up no matter what, okay? So you're coming back down because your baseline, your median heart line in the pitchfork, which has been used for support numerous times, keeps getting higher. So even like up here, you're at 62K, up here you're at 67K. So this is very healthy ascension for Bitcoin. Now, obviously, you are in a bearish pattern. How much power will it have? Well, it's trading, guys. It's the market. Depends how many people want to take profits. Depends how many new people want to come in and think Bitcoin's a really good deal. It's almost 66K, just underneath it. That's what it depends on, and that's why we go over some of the news stories sometimes, because whether they're FUD or not, they matter. They matter because they affect the market. So it's just always something to consider. Now, there's other patterns that I could show you that give you some confluence where Bitcoin could go to, including my favorite pattern. I don't have the magnet on for this, but it'll be pretty close, okay? So this is, go to my high here. This is a black swan, guys. This is my favorite pattern to trade. This pattern makes me a ton of money. Now, the black swan, if we take it out a 2618 extension, let's just use the pitchfork roof line as guidance here for the ceiling, okay? So let's go to the 2618, and it comes back down a little bit here. This is really hard to do when there's no candles. 2616. So this gets you to just about 74K Bitcoin, a little bit over 74K Bitcoin. Now, the next fib circle impact, if you're going to use this apex right here, would be December 29th. But, you know, so you can see that down the date down there at the bottom of my screen, December 29th. But obviously it depends on the candle action. We weren't supposed to impact the 1618 until next weekend. So if you get pumps or dumps, it's going to affect when you hit the circle. But you have patterns, and again, this is a bearish pattern. However, you can trade bearish patterns obviously long. I mean, you don't just trade based off a pattern. You trade off a confluence of a number of indicators. So I want to see where Bitcoin drops to. If it stays within this black swan, it could have the potential to go up to 74K. And you guys are going to see a lot of these numbers. A lot of these numbers marry up with guys who actually can do Elliott wave theory, because what is Elliott wave theory based off? Based off of Fibonacci, right? The ABC retracement comes from the Gartley pattern. Now, all that stuff came out in the 1930s when Gartley wrote his book. Harold Gartley wrote his book, Profits in the Stock Market. He had an impulse wave and ABC correction. 3 years later, Ralph Nelson Elliott came out with Elliott wave theory, which is the exact same Gartley pattern with 4 more waves on the front of it. Okay, so it's a 5-wave pattern versus a 1-wave pattern with ABC correction. So that's basically where all these Fibonacci patterns come from, is Gartley's first pattern, the Gartley, which is currently what we are in right now. So we're going to watch and see where this dumps to. And again, it is down, whatever that is, 600 points, 700 points off its peak. Where did we get to? We got to 66, 635. Yeah, so we may go down 1,000 points off the peak. If we get a lot more downward momentum, we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and zoom into the smaller time frame. So 4-hour time frame, guys. Here's the same Gartley pattern. Again, you're between the 1272 and the 1618 extension, and you're right at that Gann resistance of 66.4. It is now resistance since you were below it. And here's some price targets. I pulled it over on the fib just to see where you could fall if this pattern continues momentum. You could just consolidate and move up, guys. There's no guarantee when you hit patterns, right? So you got to look at everything. But the 618, the most commonly retraced to fib, is down here at 61.1. So you could see price come back down to the 618 or the 0.5. And what does that do, guys? It just puts you back in this chop. This chop that you've been trading in for 17 days prior to this pump, 18 days prior to this pump. It just lands you back there, and then this will just be a lower high, lower than your market high, okay? That could be what happens, or you could consolidate. Like I said, you could just come down. You can consolidate in this range between 65.1 and 66.4, do something like this, print patterns, whatever, come back up and try the next range at 67.7. So that's what we have to see happen, and basically we'll know a lot more. If we get below 65.1, the odds are you're probably coming down below 63.8, because this has been your hard resistance now for almost 3 weeks, okay? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Again, could be wrong. We'll see what happens. You're obviously well above the 200, which is also bullish. Let's go to the 1-hour time frame because there's more candles to look at. So the 1-hour time frame, couple of quick things. You don't even need Fibonacci to see this. You're printing a double top. You see this? So you have a double top. And if you take a measured move from that double top, if you break your neckline, it's this. I already drew it for you. Get candle confluence on both sides. Stick it down here at the neckline. See where you could drop to. That gets you to about 64.1 on Bitcoin. That's the base of the moving average here in Ichi, okay? You don't want to fall through in this area because we talked about this with the billowy clouds. So yesterday your clouds were really, really thin down here. And look at this nice cloud, this nice My Pillow cloud that's forming right now, okay? You can sleep on this cloud. But you got to get to it. You got to be able to get to it for support. Because right now, if this candle gets too much downward momentum, or down here, this is really easy to fall through. Look how thin this is. So you can fall back down pretty easily. So you just have to watch your indicators, see what everything's telling you, where the resistance is. Let's look at a couple of those things right now, actually. Let's throw on our regression channel. See where we could possibly go back to. We're well above the regression channel. So your median line would have you back here at 63.8 for support, okay? So again, this is a possibility. You are currently falling through the moving averages a little bit. But again, it's the market, guys. It's just buying and selling. It just depends who wants to step in and buy, who wants to sell and take profits. Let's look at the Gann fan. See where the heavy resistance is. Zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. All right, so your hot pink lines here are the heavy resistance lines, and obviously it's all resistance above you. You have a little bit of room to move back up. If you lose the support line right here, it'll become resistance. The thicker the lines, the thicker the resistance. So you could just see you could be legging your way down into these grids. But again, it's really early to tell. We only have, 3 candles since the top of the pump. And you can see that you hit the hard Gann resistance with the top of that pump, and that's where you got rejected from, okay? So we'll see. We need more time to look. We need more time to see what's going on. Let's see where our volatility is. Yeah, we're well above it. Your volatility channels are down here. You want to be in the green in the volatility channel to have healthy movement, and when you get overextended, you have the possibility of retracing, okay? So these are just some things we're looking at, guys. If you like this type of analysis, and by the way, the alt trades, I talked about them yesterday. So I even told you what we had. We had one, we had XRP, we had VeChain, we had Doge. guys are making crazy money on some of these alt trades because we had a lot of the alts move about 15%, 20% from when we put the trades up. Obviously, if you use any leverage at all, which most traders do, most people who trade understand leverage. Okay, I find it funny coming from the forex space when people freak out and they say, "Oh my God, you use 20x leverage." Do you know what the average leverage is used internationally in forex? It's 100x. Okay, you want to capitalize on small movements. So it really makes me laugh when I see some of the comments on the YouTube, people like, "Oh, this guy bragging about a 3,000 point move." Yeah, 3,000 point move if you're using 20x, 50x on Bitcoin is a lot of money, my friends. But if you don't trade, you don't understand that, okay? That's the whole point of leverage, is using a small amount of money to control a big position. Minimize the risk, control a big position, use your leverage responsibly, and take high probability trades that can make you a lot of money. So anyways, guys, if you like Fibonacci trading, if you like pattern trading, come check our room out. Link is in the video description, a link to our Discord as well. If you want to try out a new exchange, BitGet is awesome, top 5 in volume, no KYC, no VPN, my friends. Great exchange is where I do all my trading, $630 in bonuses to unlock. That link is in the video description as well. Have a great Monday, everybody. Watch Bitcoin. We'll see what it does. Another video coming soon. Take care, guys.